Hello and welcome people to a video in which I try to resolve an issue with resolution switches in a particularly terrible PlayStation 1 point-and-click adventure game, Necronomicon. Initially this video was intended to show off the fast disk read setting in the PlayStation 2 for the PlayStation 1 emulation. However, it quickly turned into a challenge of sorts to see whether or not I could actually make this game's transitions not look like this. Now, I am not going to judge the scaler on the terrible transitions when entering the PlayStation 1 menus, because entering the PlayStation 1 mode is chaos. Now, this game is primarily interlaced and goes into 288p for cutscenes. I initially used my general setup, which involves unlocked frame rate, that is going to be true for all of the videos you're going to see here, 2x scaling from OSSC for 288p, and pass-through for interlace mode, because the DVDO VP30 can handle interlaced signals way better than the OSSC. It's all being output at 720p for recording purposes, and it is recorded with Elgato HD capture. First, I'm going to show off how it looks in general. There is nothing wrong with the scaling here. It's well, I mean, the cutscenes don't look pretty. They're pretty horribly compressed from the PC version of the game. But you know, they look pretty much what you would expect. There isn't any odd scaling from the OSSC side of things. And one of the major issues is, as you saw there, even though there was a transition between the gameplay and the cutscene, there was no like loading or anything, no pause screen.
William, what's going on?
The FMVs just kind of start off seamlessly into the gameplay. It's like the only optimized thing in this entire game.
What I've discovered goes beyond understanding. You just have to believe me. We're all in the gravest danger. That's why I keep on looking, but the more I learn, the more this thing devours me. I've been sentenced to death, William. For our friendship's sake, I ask you to look after this. Don't speak of it to anyone. Don't give it to anyone. Not even to me. Especially if I ask for it.
And as you see, that happens pretty frequently. Sometimes you get an odd transition where it doesn't, but don't count on it too much. Now I went for the PlayStation 3 emulation, because I've heard that this is the way to resolve this kind of issue, and I was very disappointed, to be honest. First of all, for some reason the PlayStation 3, at least mine, does not support that extra option that the PlayStation 2 has for faster loading So the loading in the PS3 is bad, and on top of that, look at the elephant at the bottom of the screen. There's something wrong with this game. Despite most of the things that I found out about it, well, when I was looking up the compatibility, they never mentioned the thing on the bottom of the screen. Now, admittedly, there is absolutely nothing wrong when it comes to the transitions. They're seamless. There is no jump. There is no nothing. It just works perfectly. Although the scaling, despite me setting up my system resolution to 576p, which is the lowest the PS3 allows for the HDMI, it's just the scaling just does not seem quite right. Just pay attention to the roof of this house. Yeah, right there. It's like a weird line of pixels that just does not quite fit. Not quite fit right. but there is nothing terribly off about 288p in this mode. There is a lot more wrong with it if I set it to 720p, and well, as you see, sadly the gameplay has the elephant in the room at the bottom of the screen, and on top of that, some of the worst calming artifacts I have seen in my life. Like the PS3, I've played PlayStation 2 games on the PS3 and I never saw anything this disgusting.
William, what's going on? Listen to look at me. You got nothing like your head, but the reasons for my condition are far more often than mere madness. William, what I've discovered goes beyond understanding.
Yeah, as you can see, the it pretty much looks exactly the same, unless we were to count that weird line of pixel on the roof at that one moment. But you know, that would just be nitty and picky. But yeah, at the very least for this game, PS3 is not the way to go, because that glitch at the bottom of the screen actually affects everything that isn't cutscenes, and that also includes screens where you examine things. Now, here I tried something else to pass through all of the resolutions from OSSC without scaling them, and the results are somewhat better. As you saw, there wasn't a blue screen transition over there. However, it's very inconsistent. I would say like it works only 30% of the times. The other 70% of the times you will still get a blue screen transition, although not quite as rapid, or not quite as harsh. All of the interlacing in this mode is being handled by DVDO VP30, which in my configuration with the upgrade card is not great with 240p sources, but since it's all cutscenes that already look terrible, it makes very little difference. And here I tried out the last resort solution that worked for all of the Sega Saturn games that I have recorded, particularly Sonic Jam and Fighter's Mega Mix, and that is scaling every both interlaced and progressive sources ×2 with OSSC and passing it through to the DVDO, and also in order to make sure to get the highest possible compatibility, I also set the output resolution to 576p, so there wouldn't be any scaling. And this seems about as reliable as it gets when it comes to all of the setups I have tried with OSSC involved. The transitions still happen like 50% of the times, regardless. I would say like a bit less than 50. At this point, I'm just going to blame this on the game itself, because it has quite a significant difference in frequency between interlaced and progressive output, which probably messes it up pretty harsh. Well, actually, I would say like the good transition happens like 70% of the times this mode, but it's still not ideal because you get that really ugly shaky view in all of the interlaced stuff. So now I've tried something yet different. I removed OSSC from this setup, and this seems to be the way to go with this game, because now all of the transitions, well, you still get that weird little jump with unlocked frame rate enabled. I no longer get the blue screen of death. Yeah, it's just like the DVDO yet again turns out to be the machine that just does not give a fuck. Previously, when I played this game, I actually played it all the way through, connected to the DVDO without the OSSC, but I didn't use the unlocked framerate. And it worked similarly to how it did in the full pass-through mode. But yeah, that is it for this video.